The words of Psalm 121 are familiar to many of us. We often use that psalm at a funeral, and sometimes it's even used at baptisms. And there are parents who will take that psalm and print it out and make a plaque for it and put it inside a baby's crib or cradle to remind them that God watches over their coming out and their going in from this time forth and forevermore. It's a powerful psalm. It's one that all of us probably should memorize. And it's used during Lent to remind us that we are on a journey of faith. Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, you are on a journey of faith. And throughout your life, you're going to be on this journey. And you're going to experience that journey in one way or another. Like any journey, it has a beginning, and it will have an end. There's always a point of departure, but we don't always know where it's going to wind up in the end. Sometimes where we wind up is quite different from where we thought we were going to wind up. But nevertheless, that journey is worthwhile. It's full of all kinds of good things, good experiences, good relationships, good times, times of joy and gladness, times of celebration. All sorts of things happen during that journey of faith, things that we cherish along the way, things that lift us up, things that strengthen us and encourage us. How important it is that we take that journey of faith and we make the most of it. But that journey of faith is also marked by some difficult things. It has its ups and downs. There are dangers, there are obstacles, and there are mountains, challenges that come along in that journey of faith that sometimes can loom in the future and ahead of us and be so overwhelming that we get afraid or discouraged or lose our faith. Throughout that journey, we need resources, and we draw on the resources that God has given to us. And there are so many resources that God has given to us. God has given us the resource of intellect. He's given us our spirits. He's given us the ability to communicate with one another. He's given us relationships with other people. He's given us homes in which to live, a nation which protects us and provides for us many of the blessings that others do not have. There are many things in this life that we have that we can draw upon as we make that journey of faith. And the temptation for us in this world which emphasizes individualism and self-reliance is to go that journey on our own and to act as though we don't need anyone else. And we don't even invite others to join us on that journey of faith. And so we journey often quite alone. There are victories along the way which we share with other people. We have our successes. We have those moments when things go absolutely right, things that we want to celebrate. And at those moments we often share that with other people. But there are other times when we get stuck. We feel like we're going nowhere at all. We have no sense of what the future has in store for us. We might even be fearful of what the future has in store for us. And as we look around us, we might feel very, very much alone, isolated, cut off, with no one who cares about us, no one who will listen to us, no one who will pray for us. And during those times, the setbacks can be overwhelming. Unexpected things that come along our way. An accident that occurs. An unanticipated loss. An illness that puts us down. A failure in an area where we thought we were doing okay. Those kinds of things, when they happen, especially when we're journeying alone in life, those things can discourage us quite a bit and make us feel very helpless and hopeless. Every day we hear of people who feel so hopeless that they take their own lives. And how our hearts break when we hear of someone that we know, someone that we cared about, who does that. As we go through that journey of faith, we need to know that there are others on that journey with us. And it's on those times or on that journey when we see those mountains that we cry out, like the psalmist, "From where is my help to come?" But the Spirit of God reminds us again through the Word today of something that all of us have heard before and all of us instinctively know as followers of Jesus. And that is that my help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. You've heard that. Choir sang it for you. We are reminded of it again and again. My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. That mountain that looms so large in front of us was made by the one who journeys along with us. And so we don't need to fear. For God is our helper. As the psalmist writes in Psalm 46, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. He is also our keeper, as the psalmist reminds us today. He is our keeper. He keeps watch over us. He takes care of us. That's what keepers do. He watches over our lives. Not controlling everything we do. Not predetermining every outcome that comes our way. We need not take a fatalistic view of life that says, well, it was meant to be. It might not have been meant to be. But what was meant to be was that you would not be traveling alone. That same God protects us from danger. But again, we remain vulnerable. We're always going to have the possibility of something going wrong. And that's why it's so important for us to know that my help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. And when we fall, when we fail, when we find ourselves disappointed by our own inability to accomplish what we thought we could do, He redeems us. And when we have gone wrong, when we have sinned, when we have hurt others, how important it is for us to know that this helper redeems us and rescues us. You see, we may lose our grip on God, but God will never lose His grip on us. He keeps on providing for our needs, day in, day out. When we're awake, when we're asleep, He keeps watch over us. He neither slumbers nor sleeps, the psalmist says. He cares for us, as a shepherd cares for his flock. This wonderful word from God comes from the Old Testament. This is the basis of the faith of the people of Israel, and not just of us who follow after Jesus. And that is a great treasure that we have inherited from them. So we continue our journey of faith. And as we continue, we go with confidence and hope. We look to the future, not knowing where we're going. We are, in many ways, just like Abraham in the first lesson today. God has promised Abraham that he's going to have a land, he's going to have a people, his descendants will be a blessing to all the nations of the earth. But God doesn't tell him exactly where he's going to go. He's got to take that journey by faith. But he does not take that journey alone. That journey is made with the one who at times even has to carry us so that we get where we need to go. We leave behind us many things when we go on a journey. And we take up a cross. The cross that Jesus gives to us because we follow after Him. And we face challenges without fear. Anxious perhaps, but never hopeless. Because we believe that God has called us, just like He called Abraham. And that God has promised to us His blessings. And that God has even promised that he will make something out of what we are and what we do for the sake of others, so that we will be a blessing to them. And in God's economy, they become a blessing to others as well, because we have been on this journey of faith. And so we bless others with the love that we've received from God. We share that love freely, openly, because we have been set free indeed by the one who keeps us, who keeps watch over us, who guards us, who protects us, who provides for us, who is with us forever. The one who watches over our going out and our coming in, from this time forth and forevermore.